CUREDI really brings together a lot of different legal perspectives and backgrounds while interconnecting with anthropologists, and that brings the research on a completely new level.
CUREDI is very relevant for my work because in my research I focus on the domestic courts as key contributors to a transnational legal order.
The whole project is a real tribute to judges because they are in the midst of all these challenges and they cannot afford to say, I will wait until the legislator comes up with an answer. The people expect the answers.
And that, in a way, opened the avenue to explore how different jurisdictions deal with the same problem, because at the end of the day, we have the same issue across Europe.
Based in the Department of Law and Anthropology at the Max Planck Institute for Social Anthropology in Halle, Germany, CUREDI is a digital repository of cases with a focus on case law analysis that have to do with cultural and religious diversity within the domestic legal systems of member states of the EU, the UK, and Switzerland. CUREDI engages with a network of interdisciplinary teams to identify, document, and examine legal reasoning on the manifold issues related to the growing social diversity throughout Europe.
We can see three types of situations so far that are really diversity linked, but that come with different challenges. A first situation is, in fact, what we always have known in Europe, is diversity linked with our own history. There are constitutions that grant recognition to national minorities, religions have their own protection. So you could see historical diversity being protected already under legislative framework, and these situations continue popping up, so to say, and bring with them questions. But that is probably not the case law that is the most kind of relevant for the kind of project that we are setting up here. The second type of situation, that is the diversity that comes with migration, which is different migrations. There is the wave of labor migration, there is the skilled migration, and there is the wave of humanitarian migration, there is the wave of the family reunifications, there is the post-colonial past in some European countries, bring with them communities from all over the place. And as we are progressing in the identification of the cases, we broaden the scope. And there comes a third type of diversity, which is the diversity that is, I would say, the homegrown diversity, our own way of thinking of each person's right to determine for him or herself his way of life, his way of thinking. And this comes with completely new kind of challenges. One very kind of concrete challenge is in some European countries, the self-determination on the individual level, when it comes to reproductive rights, when it comes to family, allows for much more diversity than in other European countries. And that clashes very much with the principle of the freedom of circulation of people.
Many of these cases are translated into English for the first time, which gives CUREDI an unprecedented position amongst the digital resources already available. What emerges is a diversity of approaches that present a rich sample of judicial reactions to cultural and religious diversity. As Europe grows and diversifies, the need for a resource like CUREDI is increasingly imperative.
Marie-Claire Foblet suggests me, why don't you map out the cases in Spain and trying to identify the most relevant cases concerning diversity. So I start mapping out, and I realized that I came to a meeting here and have more than 200 cases. Asylum, criminal law cases, nationality, labor law cases. Such a diversity is well spread all around our jurisdiction.
The cases examined by CUREDI focus on the arguments used in the rulings to justify the granting, or conversely, the rejection of claims to recognition of traditions, concepts, practices, or beliefs.
One major challenge has been in the very beginning, with what kind of angle do we look at these kind of decisions? And the purpose is not to show whether the commentator agrees or disagrees with the judge. Our opinions do not matter. What is important is to show how a ruling is filling the gap of a law that is not yet there, or of the difficulty for a judge to have to fill in an open norm, and hard cases when two really basic rights clash. For example, the neutrality of the public space, and the right to freedom of religion and belief and be protected. And of course, you tend spontaneously, when you comment these cases, to have your own opinion about it. But that would not make for a scientific database. The database is to show the balancing exercise in the reasoning of the judge and explain how come that this judge came to this solution.
So how does CUREDI work? The database is comprised of fully searchable analyses written by an interdisciplinary network of partners drawn from across Europe. The database allows for several ways to access the information contained in the repository. It functions on the basis of different filters such as country, domain of law, relevant case law, applicable legislation and/or regulations, jurisdiction, topic, and keyword. There are also tools to help contextualize the cases, including updated bibliographies with additional anthropological information on the topics under discussion in the templates.
We are compiling anthropological texts and articles about certain topics which are connected to the cases. By these bibliographies, we are adding anthropological perspectives to the cases and for the people who access them.
This ever-growing number of bibliographies is divided into various topics. Those topics range from attire to forms of marriage and also cemeteries and funerals.
With over 500 cases in development, the database looks to be a promising tool for the needs of anthropological research and legal practice. CUREDI is also a resource for early career scholars and legal practitioners. Many of the CUREDI team are PhD students who examine cases from their own research to contribute to the database.
I specialize in international family law, and my current research focuses on individuals and families that are moving across borders and are having difficulties with regard to transferring their personal status. And so the monthly reviews that we benefit from really help me focus on the language used by the courts, and in order to try to read between the lines to understand how the courts view the values of their own legal system and how they compare that to the values of the foreign legal order.
I work with a methodology with both disciplines, law and anthropology, in order to contribute to the project of CUREDI, as well as do interdisciplinary work within my research.
As a part of the CUREDI project, I contribute to the database by analyzing cases from Turkey that has reached the European Court of Human Rights. These cases deal with issues such as religious and cultural diversity. And the mixed methodology of my project aligns perfectly with CUREDI's aims and approaches.
Being a tool for legal practitioners has been indeed from the very beginning an ambition, but whether that would really kind of resonate with judges was of course a very open question. And further developing the tool has a lot to do with feeling always reconfirmed that judges indeed can use this kind of tool.
Researchers have found this engagement to be both productive in terms of generating new insights for their own research and enriching as a professional experience beyond a strictly academic context. In turn, many visiting judges have become involved with CUREDI as authors and reviewers.
Anthropologists can have a complementary value in giving us information. They could enrich the solution.
As judges, we are facing new case constellations and complex challenges, especially in plural societies. It helps to consult legal databases. And a database like CUREDI has a lower threshold than consulting experts in courtroom officially, so to speak.
Anthropology is a discipline that has so much to say about diversity. It is the discipline that has been investing decades through in how you learn and how you understand diversity without imposing your own lens. So it is a discipline that really has a knowledge that could be useful to judges. So here in the department, we try to set up a tool that is non-judgmental, impartial, and richly documenting the way that in Europe diversity issues are being addressed within the legal framework. When we show the database to the judges and when we explain to them why we set up this kind of tool, we are always really reconfirmed that judges indeed can use this kind of tool. And so that's very much what keeps us ongoing. Yeah.
I'm very happy about all the inputs I'm getting here, and I think they will be very useful in my future career, in future decision as a judge. So thank you to Max Planck for having me here.
Me está resultando, la verdad, muy enriquecedora la experiencia, contrastar otros puntos de vista. Estoy absolutamente asombrada del nivel de compromiso. Creo que deberíamos incluso tener formación específica para seguir mejorando la calidad de nuestro trabajo.
The CUREDI database publishes new cases continuously on a variety of themes and issues. It provides a unique source of information that can be of great interest to decision makers, legal practitioners, stakeholders, as well as academics. For more information and to access the cases, visit www.curedi-law.de.